welcome to Transformational Business Network Breakfast, where we are hosting over 30 entrepreneurs. In this particular meeting, breakfast meeting, we'll have the investors speak to them about the expectation of investors when they are planning to invest in business to help them prepare their businesses to be investable. So we are hoping to have a warm interaction. We have Michael from Business Partner International, we have Matt from ThundaFund, and we have Jesse from Truvalu. We look forward to a warm interaction with our business partners, and we're looking for a warm interaction with the entrepreneurs as we explore some of the challenges they face in the journey of scaling their business and impacting the community, including creating jobs. Some of them are in the export business, others are in healthcare, others are in agriculture, and we're just looking forward to having a wonderful time.
One of my challenges would be when I supply products to supermarkets, it takes really long for them to pay us.
My biggest challenge, I think, is growth.
My biggest challenge in businesses is finances.
Trusting processes.
Our challenge is marketing.
Having different things that are out of your control, like payment cycles for other companies.
Our main challenge, I want to call it challenge, is marketing.
The challenges I've faced is self-doubt and my own personal fears.
My first staff, I employed a relative. And that was
You started on a high.
Yes.
I made the mistake of getting into a business in the name of love.
Choosing the wrong mentor was business-wise very painful. So thank you.
There were so many other challenges that were happening in my organization because of drought, because of bad weather, and we are losing sales. And there are so many challenges, including human resource management. And I was asking myself questions: how do I come out of this? How do I learn more? How do I attack the challenges or respond to the challenges? In my desire to learn, I was introduced to TBN through an organization called Africa Agribusiness Academy. I have no regrets. It was very good for me, and that's why even as I was engaged as an alumni, I value being a member of TBN network.
My name is Derek Weisler, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Transformational Business Network Africa. We are a network of entrepreneurs and investors who would like to use business for good. And listening to all your stories of how the challenges that you're facing in your businesses, and the common thing is, yes, there is profit that you would like to make, but there is a common good that you would like to address in the community.
The good thing about the TBN program is that it has an impact lens and not so much profitability and what you get out of business. So having an impact lens in a business helps you be able to see the value that your company brings to the society, rather than how much can you get from the society or from the population or audience that you're targeting. So that is a good thing about the impact program, and I've seen a great change when I look at how much impact and value can my business bring to the people, rather than what can the people bring to my business.
We hang ourselves on 3 C's. Most of you have heard about them. The first one is capacity building, rather the training, where we take you through our 6 months program. Some of you have gone through that program.
One thing I learned through TBN was just to be able to understand accounts properly and even have that intelligent conversation and be able to ask the tough questions and ask, yes, I look like I have money on paper. You have all these invoices that are out there with the hospitals, but I don't have any cash to, I'm finding like I'm struggling to make payroll, I'm struggling to pay suppliers. Though I'm paying everyone on time, but you feel like the internal tension because of that. But now being able to look at this, I was able to understand what are receivables, how do I collect money effectively.
The second one is capital raising. Since 2019 alone, Kenya has attracted $1.9 billion of investment. Businesses in Kenya have attracted that amount of money. We have no fund as TBN. But because capital raising is one of our functions, is one of the things that we would like to help you to do, how about if we gathered you here today and we brought the experts to tell you what is inside the investor's mind?
So having today's discussion and trying to see what is in the investor's mind and what they're looking for, then for me as an individual, as a company, we can go back and now, as we're doing our investor pitch, then we can actually go and check all those boxes. And for me, the most, one of the takeaways was, do I have clarity? Do I know what I want? Is it just that there's money to be given or there's money to be lended and now I go ahead and apply, or there's a grant? Why do I want the money? At what stage am I, is our business at, and what levels do we need to scale to?
The third C that we focus on is community. I mean, I was just standing right out there listening to all your stories, the challenges that you're going through. Some of you have been gracious enough to tell us how you have overcome some of these challenges. Since we have provided an avenue, a community of like-minded entrepreneurs like you to come and speak to one another. When she was speaking and saying, well, I have a problem, no one is buying my avocados, but there's someone next to me here who wants to build a factory. I was like, wow, that's a good B2B there, business to business.
As people say, your network is your net worth. So I would say a big thank you to TBN, because this is how entrepreneurs grow each other. I know that from today, I've met somebody who sells leather bags or even chili. You never know, I could recommend them somewhere, or they could recommend me somewhere. So it's a great opportunity.
If you want to succeed in business, the first thing to me that counts big time is integrity. Whatever you do, you engage in such a way that no one will come and question the integrity of your business at any given time. Make sure that you're able to do everything and you're able to become accountable. First to self, then to your partner, and to every other stakeholder who is actually in there. So the second thing is about courage. So the courage to face the customers who are so meaningful to you is very important. The courage to go for suppliers whom you can explain to what your plan is and be able to supply. And because you're led by integrity, you will go to them. They will give you those materials that you require on credit. But because you're a person of integrity, you'll also be able to pay them on time. The other one is consistency. If you look at businesses, a lot of times when we are pushed back by wind of discouragements, we tend to become a bit discouraged. I want to tell you to work at that business proper. Remain in there, yeah? Because there's certain things that you looked at in the beginning and you said, this can actually take me to where I want to go. If you have already prepared your business plan and your business model, and you have it vetted maybe by your financial analyst, someone who is able to go through it well, then you should be able to say, I want to remain on board. The last thing, and I also noted that on the TBN roll-up banner, is scalability. Is your business scalable? By looking at it in terms of, if you're likely to expand your business, is it going to reduce the cost per unit? Let me just use that as the simple indicator. That as you scale up, does it reduce the cost of production or the cost of the service per unit? You know? So that the amount of revenue that you generate, therefore, is higher in terms of the margin than what you're getting when it is actually small.
Anyone who's been in business may not know the term crowdfunding, but I'm sure you're very familiar with the concept. If I ask everyone around this room to share how they got money, I'm sure many of you will say they used their savings or they had another job where they were paying into the business. And many of you have had experiences reaching out to friends, relatives, even classmates of, can you support me? I'm building this business. How can you help me? And what we seek to do is answer that that question of how can we make that transaction a win-win situation? Because when you're asking money for a business, you're not begging. You're asking someone to support your dream, and you're inviting them to be part of your future and giving them an opportunity to participate. And if you can give them something of value, then that's obviously going to increase their likelihood of giving and also how much they're going to support. So on the far end, if you're a mature business, then maybe you have good financials and you can actually offer a financial return. You probably shouldn't be offering a financial return if you're so early and you don't yet have the cash flows to be able to fulfill it. So for the starting side of business, you'd get more donation, like just a small bit of pesa to help me get started. And then for those in the middle, especially those which are B2C, and that's what I want to focus on, is rewards-based crowdfunding, where I don't know if you've heard of Kickstarter or platforms like that. You offer something like a product, a service. It could be merchandise, like t-shirt. If you're digital, it could be like, if you're a musician, it would be a digital album. Something that you are in the position to create that you can sell to your audience for money. And the idea is, how can I raise money now so that I can get money, I can deliver something of value to you in the future. And so the rewards particular to your business are exactly that. It depends on you. I can't answer for everyone right now, but on a one-to-one, we could figure out what are those areas of value you can sell.
Why do investors shy away from investing in a business? I'll share 5 of them, and I'll start with the bottom one. Have you ever spoken to somebody about their business, and when they're done, you're wondering, what was this person talking about? And it was their business. It has absolutely no passion. They have no passion for their business. You can see there is potential in their business, but you're wondering, if this is the guy who is driving this business, can I trust them with my money? If you go to an investor and if you come to BPI and we can't just see the passion in you that drives that business, trust me, we might tick all the boxes, but we will leave you high and dry. The second one, at times you have a conversation with somebody and they don't even understand their industry. I am the one who is telling them about their industry. You've got to know your industry. You've got to know who is your competitor. You've got to know who you're fighting for the customer with. Because if you don't know, for me, there's no clarity of what it is that you're trying to do. Do you have that clarity of what you want the money for? So at times somebody comes in and tells you, I want 50 million, I want 10 million, I want 30 million. But at the end of the day, if you try and drill down, you're asking them, tell me exactly what you want to do with this money. They can't tell you. But they want 100 million. But they can't tell you exactly what they want the money for. And unfortunately, as an investor seated on this side, the question I'm asking myself, is the money safe in your docket? Number 4, you don't have a clear plan of how you're going to use the money. It's one thing to know what you want the money for, but do you have a clear plan of how you're going to use the money? Because that's very critical, that you know what you want to do with the money, but you have a clear plan. Remember, I'm a risk financial, I'm taking a risk on you, but I need to also be clear that what you want the money for is also well spelled out. Last and not least, are your projections clear? Now, I had a very interesting with a client. They came to us for funding. And I always regret having funded this business because eventually it collapsed. At that particular point, there was a lot of clarity, and there was an Anthony in the room who was a consultant. And they did all the talking. And unfortunately for most consultants, once funding has been received, they disappear. So you want to know what is the gross profit margin. Anyone who has a clue what a gross profit margin is, so I don't talk garbage, jargon. Gross profit margin, what is the sales, what is the revenue at the top, how much has it costed to achieve the cost, the revenue, the amount there is called the gross profit. Then you have your expenses below, the admin, the rent, all of those things, those are your expenses, then you're left with net profit. As a financial, I'm interested to start with your gross profit margin. I just want to understand that number. Then later, I want to also understand, are you going to make money at the bottom? Then using that, I'm able to tell, can you afford to pay my loan? So I've done some simple numbers in there. So I ask you a very simple question. What's your gross profit margin?
Once again, my name is Jesse Moremi, Business Acceleration Expert, Truvalu. Truvalu is an investor, and our approach in terms of investment is a model we call core investment. We do it in 3 main stages, and these stages are critical. The first one being the assessment. The assessment deals mainly with getting to establish and authenticating the claims that I'm an entrepreneur, I do this 1, 2, 3, to authenticate and to tell exactly who you are as an entrepreneur. The good thing about it, we do a thorough analysis, just like the gentleman, business person, has talked about. It is a process that takes maybe about 3 months, and within 3 months, we are able to gauge and to tell exactly where the company is heading to. The second stage of the 3, first is the assessment, second one is the pre-investment stage. In the pre-investment stage, we do some BDS, business development services, and these are tailor-made. In that, we sit down with entrepreneurs, walk down the challenges facing the company is facing, and try to understand where do we need to add value before we go to the third stage, which is the investment. In the last stage of our processes, the investment stage, we invest, we are equity investors. In that, we become shareholders upon investment. And uniqueness about our shareholding is we don't go for majority shareholding. The maximum ever we can ever go to is 49%. The highest, of course, we have done in the past is 35%. What is the tune of our investment? It is between 100,000 euros to 500,000 euros. On average, we have been doing about 300,000 euros. And how it is tuned is that we factor in all elements of business growth. 70% of the money we talk of going to capex, that is anything of capital nature. May it be equipment, may it be putting up a facility, and 30% to one's working capital.
An idea is never unique. It's you as the personality and the driver of the business and your execution. And really what it comes down to is storytelling. And you have to tell that story to investors, to grant funders, to individuals from the public who are going to fund your business. And so as much as you have a business plan that you're going to present, have your own personal story at the center and know why you're in business and what's going to differentiate you from anyone else, because for sure there's other people in the market who are trying to do exactly the same as what you're trying to do, and you have to prove to everyone else out there why you are going to succeed.
So always be on top of your plan. There's a book I was reading the other day in a book club, and the challenge was every week, just set aside on your calendar 30 minutes. Just go sit by yourself and re-strategize your business and ask yourself, am I headed in the right direction? Am I doing the right thing? For me, that's a challenge I would want to leave you with. Make sure that you're on top of your business plan, you're on top of your strategy, so that's what is guiding where you're going.
Doing things once over and over again is not, and probably not giving you the results. Doesn't mean that you lose your focus. You start doing, if you are selling mangoes, you start now selling avocados, French beans. No. Be consistent. And as long as you maintain discipline and consistency, you will even be applauded by investors, by financiers to scale your business.
That is a very, very wonderful interaction with our entrepreneurs and our business partners. We have taken in the wisdom of investment, and we are hoping that these businesses come next year will be able to evaluate. Good thing is some of our investment partners have also invested over 300,000 euros in some of our TBN businesses. And therefore, let's get doing what we have talked about, and let's get this show on the road. Thank you.